Hold
Good,
on.
okay. Good afternoon. Here we are, both of us, giving a great deal of our life force to Marianne Williamson's bid for the presidency.
Yes.
And we're preparing for a telethon so that as many people as possible can really get a sense of who Marianne is. So I'm
Mhm.
going to go, cut right to the chase and ask you if somehow life had been different and Martin Luther King had not been assassinated, but had been elected president. What one thing would you like to talk about a little bit or identify that you think would be different if Martin Luther King had been president?
The first thing that comes to my mind from this question is that there would not be the Ku Klux Klan.
Mm,
And and that's probably because um in my mind, learning about Martin Luther King was also at the time of my life when I learned of the Ku Klux Klan.
mm,
And so that exists, and that Martin Luther King existed. He was assassinated, I just recently learned, like a month before I was born.
mm,
So there was never really his aliveness in my life, but there was his history in my life. And my aunt is a history teacher, and she has always lived in Atlanta and worked in inner city schools. And so I've always imagined her teaching a lot of lessons about Martin Luther King. And I imagine that she had a real connection, more so than I do, because that's not part of my life's work or what I tend to focus on. History is not what I tend to focus on. But in terms of my family's history, I knew that my mother's family were Jews in Biloxi, Mississippi,
mm.
and my mom did live during the time of there was still segregation when she was a young child. And I know that my the temple that my grandfather helped to create in the community was vandalized by what are neo-Nazis. And in my mind, that's the same thing as the Ku Klux Klan. It's just, hate moving forward with a new name or a new branding. Um, so I imagine that would have not had Martin Luther King been president, that would not have been such a big aspect of my family's history as it came to me. Like, I imagine that temple would not have been ruined in such a way that those types of things would have been addressed sooner or prior to. Maybe they would have blown up, um, and things may have been a lot crazier or something. But I think that that would have ended. That would have been a change. And I think then if I follow that line, if there's no KKK anymore, then there's no, neo Nazis anymore. Then there's no Proud Boys. Then there's no, all of these kind of hate groups that are so scary and terrifying. And I think in its place, there would be something that is a more friendly feeling
Mm,
just between strangers,
mm,
like walking down the street or walking through the supermarket. It would feel like everybody I see, that initial feeling would be that's a friendly person,
yeah.
as opposed to oh my God, what are they thinking? What are they about? Do I
Yeah.
talk to that person or do I not talk to that person? Or, you know, looking around, who would I choose to run to help? I think the thought would just be, I could run to anybody for help. Anybody could be a friend. Um,
Mm.
like that. And it's a fuzzy picture in my mind because I don't, things that aren't real have a kind of fuzziness to them. There's something lacking in the dimensionality of it where it's not like a fully formed thing in reality.
Mm.
So like that it is a fuzzy picture, but I can feel that um God, that's so supportive and reassuring. It almost makes me want to cry right now.
Yeah.
Like, what would that would be? Oh my God, to be a little kid and feel that? Because I didn't feel that walking around as
Mm.
a kid, So yeah, I think it would be very different in a
Mm.
very positive way.
Well, it feels to me like you're talking about the beloved community.
Mm, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Something something that would be defined that way.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So
Hmm. Very powerful, Ree.
it
Yeah.
it it's it is, and it's just crazy powerful.
Mhm.
I mean, it's crazy in a way these days to think of that kind of a thing is so powerful.
Mhm.
But it really it's so powerful. Just a shift in perspective
Right.
is humongous.
Right.
And that's why I think it's so incredibly important, the concept of a Department of Peace, because it just gives us a new goal, a
Yeah.
different goal for that whole military machine apparatus.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
has a new goal. And that changes everything.
And the Department of Children as well. We were talking about that in the pool. My friend said, why haven't we all these years had a Department of Peace and a Department of Children? And here she is offering this as a vision. And I don't want to say it. Holding the vision is such a powerful thing that we can do, is hold that vision. And hold that vision of Marianne in the Oval Office. I love it when she says that. I love it when she says, I I will, be sitting there in the Oval Office. I'll open up all the doors and all the windows and say, come on in, come on in. We got 4 years. And what she's doing as she goes around the country like she is she's meeting all these people that I think this is also Marianne. There are people that have the solutions,
Mhm,
but they don't have the power. And
mhm.
people, you've heard her say that, I'm sure. And but she's connecting with all these people who have all these solutions. The woman that I talked to in the pool, I'm sorry, this is your interview, but she's done her organization is called House into Home, and they've housed thousands and thousands and thousands of homeless people, fully furnishing their homes.
Mm.
Um, and she's one person, that started an organization and then it's grown and it's gotten support and in all areas. Marianne is meeting these people all over the country.
One of the things that kind of pisses me off in critique. of Marianne Williamson
Hmm.
is like she's not an expert. She's not serious, or what does she know? Like that kind of a thing, really kind of downplaying her success and what she's done in her life. But I think what these people are really doing is they're misunderstanding what it is to be a leader. To be a leader is not to be the smartest person in the room
Right.
about any particular topic.
Right.
It's the ability to recognize who is the smartest person in the room on that topic and how can I motivate them to help us out here.
Absolutely.
In terms of that as leadership, she has that all the way, more like 500%
Right.
is she's able to inspire people. She is able to help them realize the value that they have and that they can contribute. You know, that's the most important thing of being a leader. It's not being some strong man or not being some suave, cool guy who's been in the scene forever and knows everybody's name.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Okay.
It's not those things at all. And when she talks about how we've been disillusioned or really duped, that's the thing we've been duped into. We've been duped into the idea that a businessman would make a good president,
Yeah.
you know, and or somebody who has a lot of fame or notoriety would be a good president. And actually, I think, Reagan and Trump have been some of the worst presidents. And yeah, I think that it is time that we actually elect somebody who can meet the standard that we should be ascribing to the presidency.
Mm.
And that should be a standard that each person feels.
Mm. 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 Mm.
So
That's very well said. Yeah. Yeah.
that's what I have. And I'd have like 2 minutes left in my 15. But
Do you have
I
things
think that's enough.
you,
I think, well, I think, the whole concept of moving through time, of people moving through time, of causes moving through time is I feel like is new to me in a way, probably because of my age. I'm in my mid 50s, and then you can look at your life as if it's history, right? You have to have a certain number of years there
Mhm.
first before
Mhm.
you get this idea and how you progress. And once you can see that, oh, this is how it works for me, then you can see that in other people's lives. Like you were talking about how Marianne's teachings really progressed and they blossomed as time went on.
Mhm.
And listening to Marianne talk actually about the different social justice movements that have gone on through history and linking us into that and showing us that it is meant for us to continue this. You
Yes.
know, we're not done. And that's why everything is such a hard rub right now, is because we feel like we should be there, but
Mhm.
we haven't really done the stuff we need to do to get there yet. You know, um, that has been very powerful. I haven't considered that before, and it actually makes me feel more patriotic in a way, that
Mhm.
that really helps with the really crappy history that our country has, both in its own establishment and then also out in the world. And I know as a patriotic American, as an American, I want my country. to be noble.
Mm,
I want us to be the good guys.
mm,
God damn it.
mm.
Being the good guy doesn't mean that you're the weak guy or the guy that everybody pisses on or any of that. No, that's the situation when you're confronted with a bully, right? Being a good guy is being a good guy and helping everybody out.
Right.
And that's what we need. That's what we're going to have to do if we're going to survive at all. That's the only way.
Mhm. That's right. It's the only way.
And so I see her, yes, definitely. She is much needed by the United States of America, but she's also very needed by the entire world
Yes, that's right.
because her politics would shift that. And that
Mhm.
needs to shift for us to save our planet.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.